Good morning and welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Thursday. I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate you taking the time today. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: what makes a leader? What can break a leader? In the words of John Mulaney, what is the difference between good and great? Let's jump right in, shall we? Leadership is not just about the title. It's not about the job. It's the qualities you show. It's the responsibility you take on. Um, it's it's pretty easily misunderstood as well. You know, yeah, generally leaders end up, climbing that ladder, right? But it's not just about climbing the ladder or, you know, it's never shifting blame or dodging accountability. When the going gets tough, a real leader steps up. They take it for their team. Um, in my opinion, real leaders never take credit. Um, you acknowledge everyone who reports to you, and you let other people make the judgment as to how big your role was. Is that dangerous? Yeah, it can be if you've got bad leaders above you. But if you don't acknowledge the people who helped you get into the position to be a success, you're not leading. You're just, yeah, your name's on the door. You're the boss, but it's the whole concept of servant leadership that you know that I believe in so much, right? So the accolades are going to come your way. They should anyway. If you are achieving, if your team is achieving, but don't be afraid to say no. Wasn't me. It was this person. It was these people on my team. They're the ones who are actually, getting the job done. I'm just putting, all the stuff in place. There's a graphic or a meme or a cartoon or whatever you want to call it. It's a couple of pictures, and they're both in the same. You got one on one side, one on the other side. So trying to draw that visually with words here for you. Um, it shows one guy standing on the barge, and all of his teammates are pulling the barge, and some are behind it pushing the barge or the platform or whatever you want to call it. And he's standing up on top. You know, voices coming. You can tell there's a voice coming out of his mouth, and he's got a whip in his hand, and he's cracking that whip, right? So that's a pretty intense visual picture, right? And then right next to it, it's the same barge, it's the same people on the team, but he's not standing on top cracking the whip. He's out in front, and he's got the rope, and he's leaning into it, and you can tell that he's leading the charge. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty, right? Literally or metaphorically. So, of those two, which would you call the leader? Pretty easy choice, right? I've always told my folks, um, I'm going to jump in where I think I'm most needed. Yeah, I'm going to have to do, the upper, higher level, policy stuff and documentation and, the stuff that's not the nuts and the bolts, but it's got to get done, right? But I've always told my folks, most of the time I'm going to be, steering, right? Captain of the ship and all of that, right? But if the steering is going fairly easily, or we get into a rough spot and I need to jump and grab an oar and start, doing this along with everybody else, that's what I'm going to do. Because it doesn't matter if I'm steering or if I'm on the oar. Ultimately, we're all in the same boat, right? So, too often I have found that people in leadership roles think, oh, well, now I can put on the suit and the tie and you do this and you do that. No. Far too often, people are promoted because they're really good at something, right? Oh, you're good on the phones. You're good on the phones. You're good on the phones. So I'm going to make you the lead person on the phones. Or you're a good salesperson. You're a good salesperson. You're a good salesperson. So go lead these salespeople. Doesn't always work that way. Um, some people shouldn't be in leadership roles. Some people gravitate to it and you just know that they're going to be a success. So again, it's not about chasing the title. It's trying to maximize your impact. It's not avoiding accountability. It's communicating better. It's having better vision. Prioritize the team gain as opposed to personal gain. Don't play favorites. Don't reject new ideas because they challenge the status quo. Leadership doesn't dismiss feedback, waver in commitment to the goals, or cling to inflexibility. Those kind of things will tear a team apart. You've got to be grounded in authenticity. Be genuine, be transparent, even when it's hard. Actively engage, show up, stay involved. Prove that you're part of the solution, not a roadblock. A leader has to have a positive outlook, even in the face of challenges, and you've got to have moral integrity, man. You got to ensure that your decisions are aligning with not just business goals, but also ethical principles. And it's hard. It really is. As a leader, you need to inspire through motivational influence. People aren't going to strive to work harder if they know that every time that anything's accomplished, oh, well, you know, Patrick got the credit. Doesn't work that way. You've got to encourage people to rise higher. You've got to have compassionate understanding. You got to take time to empathize. You got to see other people's perspective. It means leading by example. Model the behavior that you expect, that you want from the people on your team. Build your trust. Create that foundation of reliability and confidence that the people can stand on, regardless of where they are in your chain, right? Be a mentor. Have a commitment to improving the team, improving your collective. Guide your people towards growth. Unite the team around a shared goal. Leadership is not me, it's we. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. So, are you leading in a way that is creating trust? It's helping growth. It's inspiring unity. Or are you just managing? Sometimes leadership is swallowing hard and doing the hard things to your team members. I'm a very positive and upbeat guy most of the time, but you got to have that steel hand in the velvet glove. More often than not, it's the velvet touch with me. I've told this story before. I've slammed one door purposefully in my leadership growth, and like I said, I did it on purpose because I just wasn't getting through to this person any other way. I wish I hadn't had to do it, but ultimately it ended up being what needed to be done. If there's people on your team that aren't, yeah, maybe their numbers are still good, but you're just getting the sense, or you're getting a definite message that they're maybe they're being selfish. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're pulling their own weight, but at the detriment to other people on the team. Ultimately, if you're working hard to build up everybody on the team, everybody's going to succeed, right? But if you've got people on your team that are maybe, like I said, they're being selfish, or they're being catty or snide. Like I said, middle school, it's long gone. Don't put up with it. Sometimes you got to sit people down and say, "All right, I am tired of this. This is what you're doing. I don't like it. So you need to make a decision. Are you going to still be part of this team, or do I need to find somewhere else for you in the organization because I don't want you around if you're going to be like this?" You just got to tell them, "Hey, we're all on this same page. We're all on this same goal. And yeah, your numbers are okay, but you're bringing a toxicity into this that I don't appreciate. So you're either gonna fix it, or we're putting you off at the next port because we're all in the same boat. So you can grab an oar, you can help steer, you can tend to the fire, whatever it takes, but we're getting to our destination, and I want you to be part of it. But if not, get out of the boat." So go be a leader, inspire, motivate, but don't be afraid to get your hands dirty either. That's today's Red Mike message. I hope you find it helpful. I hope you found it interesting. I really do. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Really, really want to know what you're thinking. I would appreciate a like, a follow, and a share, no matter what platform you're listening to this on. And last but not least, I promised to shout out to a couple of brothers. One of my little brothers in the fraternity, John Kennedy Ritchie. He's the one who a few weeks back I talked about. We ain't even killed the bird yet. Talking about the fat man in the red suit. Yeah, that guy. Today's John Ritchie's birthday. So if you know John up there in the Falls, Wichita Falls, wish him a happy birthday. And also would like to give a shout out to Steve Lockoff and his Cowboy Broadcasting Network up there in the Temple area. They are having their grand opening today. 98.5 FM KRXT, the heartbeat of Milam, Lee, and Williamson County. Yeah. If you know Steve, tell him congrats. Their grand opening is today, 5 o'clock, I think. I don't know the address. Look it up. Anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. Please give me a like, a follow, and a share. These Red Mike messages are all about you, ultimately. So dive in. Let me know what you think. And again, go out there and be a leader today. Life is short. Drink the bourbon.